Hi, I'm Rob from Sherpa Consultants, and I'm showing you how easy it is to create your own systems using the Sherpa Infinity application. This is lesson 7, and in lesson 7 we are going to cover custom page design. Let's just have a look at what's covered. So the first thing we're going to do is actually understand a bit more about custom pages and how they differ to system controlled pages which we've been using so far. The next thing we're going to look at during that process is an introduction to page buttons. We're not going to really use them to their full extent for now. That will come in later lessons. But for now, we're just going to get an introduction to what they are and how they're used. Okay, and then lastly, we're going to create and view a basic list view custom page. Okay, so if we jump back into our Sherpa Infinity application, in the last lessons, we've been creating multiple tables, and in lesson 6, the one before this one, we actually learned how to link the two tables together or two or more tables together. So we can have a look at those now by going into our settings and pages. Okay, so here we go. So we've got 6 pages in total. They're all system control pages, as you can see by these cogs. And they're a mixture of both the list view pages and detail page types. Just as a reminder, list view are the ones that show you the data in a tabular format, whereas the detail type pages let you create new records or edit existing records. So that's the kind of difference between the two. And then the last column, you can see the actions available to you. So the important thing to understand about the system-generated pages that we've used so far is that the user has no control over how they look. It's all handled by the system. What we're going to do next is actually create our own custom page, which we do have controls over. So to do this, what we will do is we'll click on the add icon at the top right corner. Okay, and it's asking us to give it a page name, so I'm going to call this one invoice details. Okay, the page type, select from the two options that we just talked about. So we're going to do a list view. We're going to keep it simple for now. And then what it's asking for next is to actually tell the system what the primary table is that's going to be used on the page. So for us, because what we want to do is we want to look primarily at a list of the invoices, but then on top of what the system generated page gives us, we also want to start pulling in other fields from the linked tables. But the main driver for the page is going to be the invoices. So let's select that from the list. Okay, and here, the next section below the primary table are what buttons we want to see. And this is where it starts to become quite a powerful tool in order to give certain functions to certain people, but also to remove certain functions. So for example, if you wanted to give someone access to view only the data, you would remove the add button, you'd remove the edit button, and you'd certainly remove the delete button, because that means that they can only really view and sort the data that's on the page. So for this example, what we're going to do is just create a basic edit button. So we don't want the user to add invoices. We just want them to be able to look at the information that's in the invoice table and then make amendments to any of the data that is there. Okay, so we'll tick that. The after click page is where the system will take the user to after they've clicked that button. Again, we're not going to worry too much about that for now. That will come in the advanced page design that's in a later lesson. So don't worry too much about that. And we'll click on the next icon. Okay, so here we've got our page wizard, what we've called it. And you can see this is our kind of canvas. This is what the page is going to look like. And on the right-hand side here is the list of the fields. So if I just scroll down to the bottom there, you can see these are all our invoice fields. But not only is it giving us those fields, it's also looking at the linked tables through those master detail fields that we created. So it's also giving us access to the customers fields and the products and services. So in order to start building my page, I simply click on these fields that I want. So let's start down at the invoices, and I'll click on the invoice number, the invoice date, the invoice value, the quantity. Then I'm going to create the product, but I'm going to just jump up after that. And I'm going to also get some of the product related fields. So I'm going to get the product description. the product active tick box and also the product category. Then I'm going to move back down and I'm going to bring in the customer and I'm going to put the customer's address, line 1, city and the postcode. Okay, so you can see on the left hand side this is building the page. This is how it'll look. The sort order is the order that you click the kind of objects onto the page. I can drag them around on this page canvas to sort of change the order. And for now, once we're happy with the order and what fields are on there, we can just click on the save and that will create our page. So it's taken us back to the pages list and you can see a big difference straight away. So this is our one that we've just created, the invoice details page. You can see it's missing the system cog there. That's because it's a user generated page. It's not a system generated page. You can see from the icon here that it's a list view type. And you can also see we've got a couple of extra action buttons that we don't get with the system control pages. So we can delete the page if we didn't like it, if we want to start again. And we can also make edits. So if I click on the edit button, it'll just take us back to that canvas where we can either remove fields, add fields, do what we want with them. Okay, so the only thing left to do is to actually look at this page. Let's have a look at how it looks. So again, we could go through and set it up as a menu permission against me, or we can just hover over the invoice details and click it as a shortcut. And here we go. So you can see we've got a lot more information than we had on the system generated page. So we're not asking the user to kind of go through to 2 different pages and cross-reference. We've got all of the information they need on the one page with all of the page controls that we've seen so far and all the benefits. A couple of things to point out. One, you will notice that we haven't really seen before, but we've got to the point where there's too much information to display on the page width. If I had a bigger monitor, it might not do this, but on this particular monitor, it started to cap it. So what we've got is we have this extra icon, this little ellipsis icon, the 3 dots. And if I click on that, it just gives me the extra fields. Okay. And the second thing to notice is the lack of other buttons. Okay, so you remember we said that we had an edit button. At the minute, we don't have a page linked to that edit button. So if I click it, it's just not going to take us anywhere. But in a later lesson, when we look at the advanced page design, what we will do is we'll create another page for a detail page. We'll actually link that edit button back to that new page that we'll create. Okay, so that's it for this video. We hope you've enjoyed watching it. Don't forget to click on the link to the next video if you want to keep on learning. Okay, thanks very much.